The hidden legacy of ancient trade routes. Long before the world was connected as we know it today, a vast network of trade routes spanned across continents. Hidden beneath layers of time and sand, these ancient paths crisscrossed through mountains, deserts, and seas. A web of merchants, adventurers, and explorers, each journey carving stories that would shape the course of history. But what was really traded on these routes? Was it just gold, silk, and spices, or something far greater? To understand the true power of these trade routes, we must first travel back in time to the legendary Silk Road. The Silk Road, a name we all recognize, yet its history stretches far beyond the simple exchange of fabric. Spanning over 6,000 kilometers from the court of the Han Dynasty in China to the Mediterranean shores, it was a lifeline that connected the East and West. But the Silk Road was more than just a pathway for trade. It was a bridge for cultures, religions, and philosophies. Merchants traveled these dangerous paths, carrying not only fine silks, but also the promise of something far greater: ideas. As Buddhism made its way westward from India, the Silk Road became the lifeline for this ancient philosophy. Monks walked these same deserts, offering wisdom to those eager for spiritual enlightenment. And as they exchanged goods, they exchanged stories. A scroll from India might find its way into the hands of a Persian scholar, while a Greek philosopher might be inspired by the teachings of Confucius. But the greatest treasure passed along the Silk Road wasn't silk or spices. It was knowledge. Temples dedicated to the Buddha rose along the coasts, while incense-filled ceremonies reverberated with the wisdom of distant lands. This was no longer just a trade route. It was a conduit for spiritual awakening. Far beyond the spice-laden routes, there was another equally fascinating journey. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, an ancient mariner's guidebook, offering insights into the ports, peoples, and goods that lay along the shores of Africa, Arabia, and India. Considered a navigator's Bible, the Periplus was more than a mere map. It contained descriptions of coastal towns, the native peoples, their languages, and their customs. It was here, on these Periplus scrolls, that we find traces of the ancient world's hidden connections. As ships sailed from one port to the next, they weren't just carrying goods. They were carrying knowledge and culture from one civilization to another. These mariners were the unsung heroes of ancient global trade. Now turn your attention to the heart of Africa, where the vast Sahara Desert held secrets not just of gold and salt, but of an empire whose wealth and power would shock the ancient world. The trans-Saharan trade routes connected the kingdoms of West Africa to the Mediterranean and the Near East. Caravans laden with gold, salt, and ivory journeyed across the blistering sands, carrying not just goods, but the lifeblood of an entire civilization. At the heart of this network was the Kingdom of Mali, ruled by the legendary Mansa Musa. His pilgrimage to Mecca in the 14th century left the world in awe, as he distributed so much gold that he caused a financial crisis in Egypt. Mali's wealth wasn't just a story of precious metals. It was a story of an empire that understood the power of trade, not only to amass riches, but to influence the cultures of Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. But the stories of these routes weren't always peaceful. As the spice trade flourished, so did the competition. In the Mediterranean, empires clashed for control of the precious trade networks that connected the East and West. Roman legions marched across Europe, while Byzantine merchants sought to dominate the spice trade. The Mediterranean became a battleground for empires, each vying for the wealth that flowed along these maritime highways. Greed, power, and ambition. The Mediterranean was not just a conduit for trade, but a battleground where empires fought to control the flow of riches. As centuries passed, the great trade routes faded into history, but their legacy remains alive in every corner of the world. Archaeologists today continue to uncover remnants of the past, golden artifacts, pottery, and the relics of cultures long forgotten. These discoveries remind us that the ancient trade routes were not just roads to wealth, but roads to enlightenment. And in our modern world, the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures continues to thrive. From the bustling markets of Africa to the high-tech streets of Asia, the spirit of these ancient routes endures in every handshake, every exchange, and every connection. As we look to the future, we are reminded of the ancient paths that brought us together. The trade routes of the past have shaped the world we know today, and their untold stories continue to echo through time. What secrets still lie buried beneath the sands? Perhaps one day we will uncover them. These routes may be ancient, but the spirit of trade, of connection, lives on.